Good evening and welcome to the May 18th, 2023 meeting of the Mount Juliet Municipal and Regional Planning Commission meeting. As we begin our meeting this evening, I would be remiss if I did not mention the parting of Mr. Barlow, our current Director of Public Works. I will say that have been here with you through your entirety. You had massive shoes to fill, and Mr. Keel, as you came on board here. And I know that you're a city resident and hopefully going to be staying around here. You made a massive impact for us, massive impact on the city, me personally, a lot of folks around here, Andy. And being a young guy, as sharp as what you are, as many things as what you've done, I hope that as you do leave, that you leave proud and know that you've truly made a difference. And it's just not something that everybody gets to say at the end of any given day. And it's been seen. I know many a nights getting roads back going in inclement weather, tornadoes, seeing roads built. Hadn't always agreed with you on the roundabout stuff and whatnot, but it has been an adventure. And so personally would like to wish you all the best in your continuation of your career and the best for your family as it continues to grow and move forward. And just very grateful and appreciative for your time and your service to this body, to this city, and the difference that you've made, Andy. So thank you very much. Very appreciated. Yes, sir. With that being said, we will open our meeting tonight. We do have a couple members not here tonight, so I like to, when we have that, I like to read our quorum and decision-making process. Basically, it says the presence of 5 members of the commission shall constitute a quorum for the transaction of business. The chairperson may, at his or her discretion, wait up to 30 minutes after the scheduled meeting time for a quorum to be present. In the event that a member is required to leave a meeting prior to adjournment and the departure causes a loss of quorum, no further official action may be taken until a quorum is restored other than an adjournment. A majority vote of those commissioners present, and in no case less than 4 affirmative votes, shall be required to decide any item of business requiring action by the commission. So just wanted to share that information as we begin tonight. First item up on our agenda is to set our agenda. I am not aware of any changes, additions, omissions. Seeing none at this time, we'll set the agenda as stated, and we will begin our meeting tonight with staff reports. Begin with Ms. Hamblin.
Thank you. Andy and I decided that we were not going to talk about his departure, so I'm not going to talk about him leaving, but I just wanted everybody to know how excited I am for Andy's new opportunity, and we're not making eye contact because I'm not going to ugly cry tonight. But I just want to say thank you, Andy, for all you have done and for becoming family with me. I'm going to ugly cry, and that's going to be it. Thank you.
Andy, I tried not to look at her when I was saying
You
everything,
did. I was
too.
like, could you please just do that in private?
Yeah.
I can't. I'll say my goodbyes to you in private.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate all the work that you've done for the city and how close we've become. And I know it's not goodbye for me because he's become family. So, and his wife and family have too. So
That's awesome.
it is. So thanks, Andy. And I'm
Thanks.
excited for you. And I love you, kid.
Love you.
Peas and carrots.
Yeah. That being said, Mr. Barlow.
Oh, thanks, Jennifer. She's been avoiding me like the plague since I put my notice in. Trying not. So it was actually at the day of the meeting is when I realized where I was going last month. So at the Planning Commission last month. So I told Jennifer and Shane and our guys at the staff. I told them right after the meeting. Then this is not a decision that came easy for me. I have loved being a public servant here at the city of Mount Juliet. I have felt called to do that. And it's been something that I've truly enjoyed doing. I think of all the things, it's like all the stuff that we've done. I drive around and I think, well, yeah, I've worked on that project or I did that, but it's the people that I get to work with. You know, Jennifer and everybody and all my staff and all the other staff. It's been such a great time. We have a great group here at the city. We're one big family, and it's a great team. It's a fantastic team, and I couldn't be more proud because everybody here, I think we're whatever 250 employees, and what a great functioning team we are. And I'm just proud to have been a part of that, just one piece of it. I mean, I'm just one person, and I'm no more important than anybody else. And so everybody has their own importance in what they do, and I couldn't be more thankful for that. And you know, the verse that I live by in my career is Colossians 3:17, and you know, you want to do everything, whatever you do, for the glory of God, and that's what I've strived for, and everybody has helped live that out. So it's hard. I was trying not to cry tonight, but I told my guys at all the public works guys that next day, and I cried like a baby. So, but this has been a real pleasure and a joy for me, and I'm going on to another opportunity with TDOT, but and I know, you know, it's going to be, it'll be great up there, but you know, this has been a dream job for me, and this has been just incredible. And I couldn't be more thankful, and thanks to you all. I mean, every one of us are civil servants. I mean, we're here because we want to serve. And so that's it. That's it.
Hope
Thanks.
you know you keep your head high. And yeah, that's pretty awesome. So I'm going to change the subject on.
Yeah.
Tell me about the roundabout. How are we doing on Green Hill?
Hey, the funny thing is I'm going to the state traffic office, and so I get to put roundabouts everywhere, all over the state.
I would have to say it. Yeah.
I was trying to think of some funny stuff to say just so I could lighten the mood a little bit. But yeah, I actually, the thought hit me last week. I could put roundabouts everywhere. So yeah, the roundabout's going on. I think it's still on track for completion next year. And so, you know, I'll say this, today we were able to have a walk with the Nashville Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee, BPAC. You hear us say BPAC a lot. These are folks from all over the Nashville area. We had representatives from NDOT, RTA, the planner for the city of Gallatin showed up, Bill McCord. So he's always been a great partner for us here at the city. And so, you know, the folks from GNRC and everything, and they got to see the Town Center Trail.
All right.
And we talked about that. We talked about the roundabout and how that's going to provide the connectivity. It's not just a roundabout. Remember, it's a connectivity between the subdivisions and the greenway. So it's still on track next year. I think summer completion time frame. I think I was talking with Matt and Abraham, and I think they're going to have it ready for the stage 2 of construction. So which starts to transfer traffic over in a few weeks. So I'm very, very excited about that project. So
Yeah, I saw the concrete poured for it.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're just a few weeks away.
That's awesome. That's pretty exciting.
Appreciate it.
One quick question for you, because I've been asked this a couple of times. The cut that they've done across Green Hill, one of them is kind of forming a quasi speed table right now, and a nice little hump right there. Do they plan to repair that cut and get that cut back to grade, or
Yeah, speed humps everywhere.
speed humps again?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yes.
Yeah. I know.
Roundabouts and speed humps.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it'll be repaired. And I think I think that was a utility cut. So
Okay.
I'll double check on that just to make sure. But yeah,
Fabulous.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you
much.
for everything that you do, brother. We really appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Amen.
Thank you all.
Shane, anything you wish to add?
No.
That's a hard follow-up. All right. With that being said, we'll move forward with our meeting tonight. This time, we'll call for citizen comments. Public is welcome and encouraged to make public comment about any item on our agenda. Be two opportunities for you to make the comments. You may speak now. You may speak when the item is presented to the Planning Commission. We do ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. And anyone that wishes to address the Planning Commission at this time is welcome and encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing no citizen comments at this time, move on with our first item on the agenda. That's the minutes approval, item 2.1, the Planning Commission regular meeting minutes from April 20th, 2023. Any amendments, adjustments, changes? Seeing none, I'm looking for a motion in regards to this item on our agenda. Got a motion? Paper, rock, scissors. Get a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? So approved. Next items up on our agenda fall underneath our consent agenda. We'll begin with item 3.1. It's sewer letter of credit number S203015 for Carriage Trail Phase 3 in the amount of $65,404.03 can be released. Item 3.2, the development letter of credit number 954-255-3054-90082 for Tuscan Gardens Phase 15 in the amount of $96,174.19 can be released. Item 3.3, the development letter of credit number 7006849 for Nichols Vale Phase 2, Section 2A in the amount of $27,090.12 can be released. Item 3.4, review the final plat for Mount Juliet Commons Phase 1, Section 5B, located off Bailey's Branch Road. Or, excuse me, I'm not sure if that's Bailey's Branch Road. I'll just say Bailey's Branch. Item 3.5, which is a recommendation item back to the Board of Commissioners, is to review the annexation and plan of services for New Tribe Church located at 260 Clemens Road. Item 3.6, review the preliminary plat for Beckwith Business Park located at 5158 Beckwith Road. Item 3.7, review the final plat for Beckwith Business Park located at 5158 Beckwith Road. Item 3.8, review the site plan for the Mount Juliet Police Headquarters expansion located at 1019 Charlie Daniels Parkway. Item 3.9, review the site plan for Mount Juliet Self-Storage located off East Division Street. Ms. Hamlin.
Thank you. I know you don't normally see annexations on consent agenda. I believe I have done that in the past for simple ones as this. They're not asking for a rezone, and it's just a straight annexation plan of services in a donut hole that we're anxiously trying to capture into the city limits. So we were excited to see that come through. For item 3.8, there are a few variances that need to be granted. Staff recommended approval on those, and if you see fit, please include those in your approval, that those would be granted as well. Other than those two things, staff recommends approval with our conditions listed.
Very well. Mr. Barlow, anything you wish to add?
I'll note for the annexation, that is directly adjacent to our Public Works property on Clemens Road, and across Clemens Road to the west. That's the Linwood Station development. So we do have sewer that brought there by Hibbett Station and Linwood Station going down through there. So sewer's available a whole bit, and it's like as Jennifer said, that's one that we knew's been coming for a long time. So this to be expected.
Very well. Thank you. Questions or comments from the commission? See no questions or comments at this time. I'd like to call for citizen comments. Any citizen wishing to make comment about any item on our consent agendas, welcome and encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing no citizen comments at this time, we'll be closing the Planning Commission meeting in order to open a public hearing. The public hearing is in regards to item 3.4 and item 3.7. Item 3.4 is to review the final plat for Mount Juliet Commons Phase 1, Section 5B, located off Bailey's Branch. Item 3.7 is to review the final plat for Beckwith Business Park, located at 5158 Beckwith Road. Anyone wishing to make a comment during the public hearing in regards to either of those items is welcome and encouraged to do so. And please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Seeing no citizen comments this time, we'll close the public hearing, reopen our planning commission meeting, and at which time I'm looking for a motion in regards to the items on our consent agenda. Got a motion? And a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? So approved. Next item up on our agenda falls underneath the site plan. Begin with item 4.1, so review the site plan, parking plan for Regio Academy Daycare located at 14415 Lebanon Road. Ms. Hamlin.
This has been the most simple yet most complicated site plan we've ever had that I can recall in my 24 years here at the city. So we have lot 1 and lot 2 that are in the city limits on separate lots, of course. Lot 3 is in the county and not in our urban growth boundary. So there is no opportunity for annexation. During our latest urban growth boundary expansion, I did add this lot in. Commissioner Hefner was key in supporting that as well, trying to capture same owner situation is littered up and down Lebanon Road. So hopefully we're going to be capturing those in the future to avoid this very situation on future submittals. As far as lot 3 being in the county, the applicant went to the Board of Zoning Appeals at the county today and was granted approval for use of septic. You can see the field lines there on that lot 3 for a commercial use. They don't typically allow that, but they did allow it for the daycare as it was being utilized for the veterinary service that was there previously. They have their playground and associated drive-through lanes on lot 2, and most of the building and remaining parking is on lot 1. I have spoken with Tom Brashear, the county planner, about the use of the septic and actually using this lot 3, which I failed to mention is zoned residential, for a commercial use. And he and I talked extensively about that and agreed that they could continue that use if they would add a Class D4 landscape buffer on that northerly property line. So we would require a D4 buffer around what's in the city limits, but then that would prohibit them from using their drive-through lanes and the dumpster for lot 3, or at least access to that. So if you guys approve this site plan tonight, I would ask that you add that condition that there will be a Class D buffer along the northerly property line of lot 3. And a little different than what we usually see is the fence on the interior of that buffer. If we could allow them to have the fence on the exterior of the buffer. There's currently a chain link fence by the adjoining property owner. So I'm a little concerned about getting back there to maintain that landscape buffer if you have a fence, 20-foot buffer, and then a 6-foot privacy fence. And that's along this property line here. We also have some concerns on lot 1 about the ISR. Mr. Anderson indicated that I believe it was at 65%, but if you look at the plan, it looks like clearly they're exceeding that, and our max is 80%. So I'd want clarification on if that is within the 80% impermeable surface ratios. And to further help that cause, I've asked, I can't remember what condition it is on our staff report, that they combine these lots. I think it would just make for an easier and cleaner site plan if this were all on one lot. It's all one owner. They could use that lot 3 green space towards that ISR, and that would help a lot. I don't know how you all feel about that. I did speak with Tom Brashear, the county planner, and he agreed that combining those lots would probably be best. And I did also speak to Gary Merritt, who is a representative for this project today, and He says that they're not sure if they would want to annex, but he could see the benefit in the future because if this were ever sold in the future, they would need to connect to sewer. And we're not obviously going to give them sewer if it's not in the city. So with that, I have just a few conditions listed. We do recommend approval. The county approved them today at BZA. I do understand this is complicated, but I think that our conditions, if they can meet those, would really clean this up and be a good use for this currently vacant building. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Barlow?
I just want to note, we do have our comments there. I do note that sewer is not currently available in the area. So septic is their highest and best option for waste disposal. And to second what Jennifer said, I think it's highly, highly recommended that these 3 lots be combination platted into one lot. And you might say, well, lot 3 is not currently in the city. We have those already out there. So there are lots out there that are partially in the city, partially in the county that were probably combined at some point in time in the past. And so I think we'll be cleaning that up with the UGB and get it annexed all, and it'll just be a cleanup annexation. So I think long term for the property itself, I think is absolutely the best solution for the owner, for the city, for just for logistics, especially with the septic field there. So that's the one thing that I have on this. Other than that, I think it's pretty straightforward. Shane, did you have anything else?
TDEC is aware of the situation since they are the jurisdictional authority on on-site wastewater. They don't have an issue with it since the septic field is already there. If these folks were to ever to annex and then sell the lot, then they would have to come back to us for approval, as the ordinance states that you can't sell a lot with septic fields on it. So they would have to get an exception, but since it is a no man's land, we clear it with TDEC, and from a public works aspect, we're good to go.
Very well. Got a few quick questions to start off for staff. I don't see it as a condition. Does it need to be added as a condition to make this these 3 lots into one lot or one parcel? Is it?
Yeah, fine.
Right, a combination plat to consolidate all 3 lots. So that is a condition. If we should approve this, and it would only be for this use, is that correct? If the use change to whatever smoke shop, I don't know. Would it come back before this body? So once what we approve here today would be regardless of use.
The zoning would allow for other uses.
Okay. And I just got one more. Where is sewer currently? You know,
It's a distance, Shane, you know. Yeah, the dollar store is the closest. Yeah, half a mile probably.
okay.
Yeah.
So it'd be coming so close to the Davidson County line, I would figure it'd be closer to go back that way, but
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got that no man's land right there. That's
yeah,
not in Metro's area and not in our
Right.
area.
and just never not made its way all the way down.
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay. Further questions or comments from the commission at this time?
Yeah, the comment on here on any childcare centers be serviced by public sewer. I mean, that's a city ordinance, but
It's a supplemental provision for a child care center. However, TDEC, who really controls the lines and the use of your septic, has approved it. and the state of Tennessee will also have to approve it. So it's really, these came pretty close, I think, from the state of Tennessee rules for childcare
Right.
centers. Mhm.
Yeah.
So they would really oversee that,
Yeah.
but they do have approval from TDEC, which is a state run.
That was my question. So 'cause I know DCS and DHS, are they going to be in line with that?
They will have to inspect it in order for them to open.
Right.
Yes, they will have to approve that. And the applicant's here, she may already have that if you want to ask her.
I would like to ask that.
Yeah. Can we go ahead and ask for representation to the project and name and address for the record?
I'm Sam Anderson with Anderson Architects, 48 West Caldwell Street, and this is,
And I'm Amanda, 654 Castle Road. I'm the owner of the preschool.
and together, we're going to try to answer your questions. This has been probably the most difficult project I've ever worked on. Got a lot of moving parts. I don't know what your question was.
The question is have we talked to DCS or DHS about not being on public sewer?
We did a daycare just recently across the street for Miss Chantrell Johnson at Stay, Play, and Learn Daycare. They weren't able to access the sewer either in that same area, no sewer. And we worked it through with TDEC and that's right,
And
TDEC.
DHS, are you saying the licensing?
Yes.
Yes, I already contacted my licensing person and they said that they don't have a problem to it.
Okay.
It's not a.
And they did approve it for across the street.
Yeah, I mean, I know how they are.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the only reason why I asked if we got approval through them. Okay. Okay, that's all. Only question I had.
I would like to see if I can clarify. I think, Mr. Winchester, you may have asked for them to combine the third lot in the county with the other two lots. And I'm pretty sure they would like not to do that if possible. And our thinking is that if it was a stipulation, should the property sell or something happen, then, you know, it couldn't be done at that point. You'd have to combine it at that point. But if they get sewer along North Mount Juliet or Lebanon Road there, then they can abandon the septic, right? Get on the sewer, and then that can become a residential lot, just like the rest of that neighborhood there. But I think trying to combine it just creates a lot of difficulties for the owner. I don't think they have a problem combining lots 1 and 2 because they're both in the city, and that shouldn't be a problem. But the third lot in the county just seems like there's quite a few. And it to me, it's never going to be used for anything other than what it is right now in this situation it is. So I didn't see that on the planning and zoning comments but you
Number 5.
you were asking
It
that?
is provide a combination
all three
plat to
lots, okay.
consolidate all 3 lots.
I mean, if that's something that you feel necessary to do, obviously we'll try to abide by it, but it would just make things easier for the owner. For tax purposes, there's just a lot of things that they explained to me that would be beneficial to them if it wasn't done. And of course, it functioned as the veterinary clinic for years under that arrangement. And, you know, I'm not sure how that happens, but that's what we have out there. And as far as the ISR, Ms. Hamblin, we may have calculated that wrong.
I think you definitely did because the only green space on here is in the rear. The
I
north.
think we looked at the building and the lot size,
Oh.
more like a floor area ratio thing. So,
We're definitely going to need another lot to meet our code.
okay, so
Yeah.
that, if we do annex that other one in, lot 2, we should be in good shape. But before that happens, we're not going to meet that regulation. Okay.
That's what I think.
All right.
I'm not an engineer, but
Let me ask you, I just pulled it up on the map to see what's adjacent across from it. And of course, across Grandview is the U-Haul self-storage right there. Is the opposite corner of Grandview, is that part of U-Haul or is that a whole
the
separate?
gravel parking lot.
No, well, at least on my aerial that I'm looking at right now,
Do you care if I
Um,
come up there and see what you're looking at?
no, not
Okay.
at all. That'd be welcome.
Is there anything else?
So this really goes, this one right here.
Oh, no, it's theirs.
This is all to that house.
Andy has his computer on board. I haven't pulled it up.
And is this house?
The landscape buffer.
That's the bit. That's the bit currently, which is, it's the actual building. That's that.
Okay, so it's adjacent to the house.
Mhm, so they own, Mr. Landry owns all that whole,
Are we buffering this?
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you to add that northerly property line on lot 2 and lot 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we need to add that too. Okay, apologies for that sidebar right there. I just wanted to see where we were with that because there's a house directly to your east, right there, and just making sure that we have same kind of, in my opinion, same kind of buffer between the house as well, or the easterly lot.
And that is a separate lot, the one that you were asking me about.
That is a separate
That is
lot.
not owned by U-Haul.
So that would be my only comment back to that, Sam, would be if we didn't do all three, I mean, in looking at it with that being a separate lot, not adjacent to the house right there on Grandview, I could see development happening on that corner of Grandview across from you, on the opposite corner of Grandview and Lebanon Road right there, in the foreseeable future, especially if sewer we're getting down there. Obviously, you can put more on it if sewer should come in there. So it's one of those things that doesn't make much sense now, but can begin to make much sense. And I just have one question. I apologize. Tell me your name again.
Amanda.
Definitely need more daycare and whatnot here within the city and access. So I applaud you guys for doing that. And my only concern, similar to Commissioner Bullock, is that you are going to be doing this and you're going to be doing on a septic. And in what I do for a living, if your septic fails, and if TDEC, or we got a copy of the TDEC letter here, they're saying there's no record of this septic. It means there's no duplicate field. And so kind of a buyer beware statement. You're aware if that field, if your septic field fails, which does happen, especially more often than what you would think, that you're going to have a large financial investment in something that would immediately be shut down. And I just want to make sure that you and any of your partners or anybody else that, I mean, unfortunately, there's nothing more important than running water and flushing toilets. Probably even more necessary than even power itself, because we can always roll in a generator and power back up, but we can't do anything once the water and the sewer is gone. And that is something that is acceptable to you guys, and you understand that if that fails, you're not going to get it back.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, because if they don't have record, it is, and trust me, TDEC is not quick to come out or do your soils and help you to identify another set of soils. Getting on a soil scientist calendar for them to be able to do that is just not a expeditious process based upon my knowledge out there. And so just want to make sure location right there is super close to even my house and very familiar with you and everything where you're going right there. Often wondered about that building because it's always just been a really nice building that's just kind of sat there and you never really see any cars in it. Yeah. So
It's waiting.
yes, it is. It is. I appreciate your vision for the property and the vision that you've provided to us here, but definitely, as Mr. Anderson said as well, interesting and just a going concern from our standpoint. Questions, comments from the commission? Wonderful. Thank you, guys. With that being said, I'd like to open it up for citizen comments. Any citizen wishing to make comment at this time is welcome and encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Excuse me. Seeing no citizen comments at this time, I'd like to open the floor for a motion in regards to this item on our agenda. No, this is a vote.
So, motion to approve with the conditions placed on by staff. both planning and public works, including combining the 3 lots.
I'll second that. And that's the addition of Ms. Hamlin's comment to add the Class D buffer along the north portion of Lot 3 with the fence on the exterior of the buffer, and as well to the east of Lot 1.
Yes.
Is that okay? Motion on the floor.
And also add a written approval from DHS that you have approval to use it.
Acceptable? Second stands. It's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your hand and saying aye. Aye. Against? Abstentions? Best of luck to you guys. Next item up on our agenda also falls underneath the site plan. It's item 4.2. It's review the site plan for Style Masters Salon located at 86 Nottaville Road. Ms. Hamlin.
Thank you. This one almost made it to consent except for the variance or design waiver that they're asking for. I know everybody is familiar with the current Style Masters on Lebanon Road, and they are going to be picking that building up and moving it over behind Speedway on Nottaville Road and attaching it to an existing house that's there. They have met all of our conditions mostly. There's just a few from planning. Those are just the typical ones that you normally see. And they are asking for those waivers to the design standards that I've indicated. And I've described those in the staff report and the percentages that they're asking for. It looks very similar to what you see down at Old Friends Senior Dog. I think it's pretty conducive with the surrounding structures. So staff recommends approval for those and for the site plan with our conditions listed.
Mr. Barlow, anything you wish to add?
Nothing. I don't think I have anything. Shane, I think he has one.
Please.
Just a general note, pre-treatment for this site will be determined at the construction plan review phase.
Very well. Thank you. One quick question for staff. So we are approving the waiver is, there's no vinyl, right? I
No
guess
vinyl, it's
that's
hardy.
what I want to be 100% on.
Correct. It's hardy is what's called out on the plans.
So both of the existing structure and then the structure being moved would both end up be
They'll be rescanned.
rescanned.
Yes, sir.
Very well. Questions or comments from the commission?
Construction costs must be getting high.
I think Miss Tamara just loves her building. She's here.
Actually, it's a good time. Yeah. Lumber is down. That being said, open the floor for citizen comments. Anyone wishing to make comments, welcome and encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone and name and address for the record. Seeing no citizen comments this time, I'd like to ask for a motion in regards to this item on the agenda.
Make a positive recommendation with staff conditions.
It's a vote, so that would be a vote for approval, not a positive recommendation. It's a motion and a second. Got a motion and a second?
Does that include the waiver approval?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Second stand?
Yes.
It's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? So approved. Next item up on our agenda falls underneath a zoning ordinance amendment. It is a recommendation item back to the Board of Commissioners. It's item 5.1. Excuse me. Is to review the zoning ordinance amendment for section 6-102, uses and structures, takeout restaurants and convenience neighborhood services. Ms. Hamlin.
Well, as we see the CNS district grow, we've also seen the need for takeout restaurants being placed in these districts. Several years ago, we did not allow takeout restaurants in commercial town center zoning classifications, and we brought that back through, and I think it's been very successful. And I'm glad that we did that because it's really created that downtown synergy, a walkable area. We certainly enjoyed it here at City Hall because we can walk and get our lunch. And I envision the same thing for our residents that abut these CNS zoning districts, to provide that gathering spot or just a more walkable type of area for them, and then but to be able to enjoy those types of uses. I've had several reach out to me on actually even just the Golden Bear in front of Jackson Hills where they did the market. They're wanting to put an ice cream shop in there, but because we don't allow CNS, the takeout, they cannot. And I think that would be very successful there. You'll be seeing shortly, hopefully, a remodel of the gas station here at the railroad tracks. And I've encouraged them to bring that back in as a CNS PUD to try to get that convenience store legal because it's zoned CTC currently, which is not allowed to have the gas station or a convenience market, but we do allow that in the CNS. And again, they're wanting to have a takeout type facility in with that establishment as well. So I put together this zoning ordinance amendment to allow takeout restaurants in the CNS zoning classifications. With the caveat, I know there was a lot of people here at the podium whenever the gas station at Jackson Hills was proposed that they just didn't want that speaker box. They didn't want a drive-through window. So I put a provision in there to remove that use from a takeout facility. So you couldn't have a McDonald's type. It'd be more a smaller establishment. CNS zoning limits the size of the building for convenience to, I believe, 5,000 square feet. So you got that smaller setting. I did leave, though, room for a walk-up window. I know Jeremiah's has a walk-up window, and it's like my favorite thing to see when I leave work every day. All the kids and their families out there in front enjoying their patio and a walk-up window. So I added that it had to be on the right-of-way facing side rather than abutting that neighborhood setting. And I think that this is going to be very successful, and I'm actually pretty excited to see it go through and get some of those businesses in our existing CNS districts. Commissioner Hefner and I believe Andy was in that meeting too, have met specifically on the Baltz Farm several times, several developers actually, and we're really trying to push that CNS smaller, scattered throughout. So I think it'd be pretty successful, and I hope that you support this tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Barlow, anything you wish to add?
Nothing.
Besides Jeremiah's in your neighborhood?
Jeremiah's is awesome, by the way.
Jeremiah. Yeah. The, what, familiarize us a little bit where we have CNS currently.
So CNS is primarily off the beaten path, backing up to a neighborhood. So we have Old Lemon Dirt Road in front of Cobblestone. We have in front of Rebecca Christensen's neighborhood at the corner of Saundersville and Nonnable, CNS. We have CNS along Golden Bear. And I believe that is all the CNS. We don't have any on Mount Juliet Road. So we don't have a lot. It's a pretty new zoning classification. I say new, maybe 10 years, maybe a little more. It could have been when Bobby Franklin was here. But we only see it as part of a residential mixed use. Jackson Hills is a prime example. And it's very limited. So, but that's why I think we're really trying to push that along that Golden Bear corridor to have smaller scale convenience establishments.
I will add one note to the CNS type of use. We talk about mixed use and stuff like that, and this is not mixed use, but this is a way. I mean, I know that a lot of those places. I go to the Circle B over by Cobblestone Landing, grab gas from a mower there. I know you see people in there a lot. when you have those, you don't have to have everybody going all to Mount Juliet Road to get stuff. And if you can go to a convenient place that's nearby your house, those are some ways to help us with some of the congestion problems that we have. So, not to mention it shortens the trip. If you just got to go grab a bag of ice, got people over, get some gas, whatever it may be. These are the kind of things that I think as a city for us to really be successful in the future and moving on kind of into the next generation of development of what we see. That's the kind of stuff that I think it can really do good. And if we do it right, I mean, we got to be respectful of everybody's houses that's nearby, of course. But if we do this right, then it's a fantastic amenity for everybody who lives near one.
I guess a couple more on that. So you did away with the outdoor speaker, and I'm assuming that it's got to be within CNS itself. Things that we've addressed on even like the cobblestone there that Mr. Barlow just mentioned. Remember when that came before us, we had conditions on them about advertising in the windows, lighting, everything else there, which I'm not 100% that they're in compliance of some of the conditions that we put forth on them, but there's that.
On Cobblestone?
Yes, with some of the ads in the windows.
I don't know that we actually did that on Cobblestone. Did we?
Yeah.
I know we just did for sure on Jackson Hills,
Yeah.
the Golden Bear Market.
So
That was before my time, so I
yeah,
don't remember
so
exactly.
I guess just making sure as we do abut the neighborhoods, and personally in agreement that we give some convenient restaurant, convenient retail, whatever it may be right there, but at the same time to ensure that it's not going to be obtrusive to anything that
Correct.
is around them. And that's, i.e. usually lighting, advertising, things of that nature, even hours of operation. And I'm not sure if we've got anything that in CNS or might be added to this in regards to hours of operation, lighting,
For takeout, for
advertising.
specifically the takeout restaurants. Currently, there's no time limitation on CNS uses.
Yeah, because I agree that, what'd you call the restaurant y'all walked to?
Jeremiah's.
Jeremiah's. So as great as what Jeremiah's would be, probably not as cool if Jeremiah's is 24-hour service.
I think it would be a poor decision for the owners of Jeremiah's to operate 24/7 because
Yeah.
nobody would be there.
But should it change?
Yes.
There's always people willing to work for an extra dollar, and
If you can find somebody to work,
yeah, I know. Trust me.
I'll give you $100.
Yeah. But just things like that to take into consideration.
But you're right. And that's why I try to be real specific about the noise abatement and the walk-up window to try to, ease concerns that adjoining property owners might have. And I know that's been the biggest concern when we hear it at the podium on like establishments. The size of the building, though, I really think is what's going to drive that home because you're not going to get that McDonald's or Wendy's. I mean, I'm pretty, it's 5,000 square feet, which is pretty small for
Right.
those types of businesses. So they'll be more intimate, a boutique style, probably a lot of strip center broken up.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's cool. Commissioner Heffer?
Yeah, I think you answered my question. Thinking of Sonic, I mean, are they a drive-through? Are they an eat-in? Are they a drive-in? What are they? Would they not? They would.
Restaurant, but they
It is
have
considered
so
a
many-
takeout?
Do they? Yes, it is. It's takeout.
Interesting.
So the difference between sit down and takeout in our zoning ordinance is throw away paper plates, or glass dishes. That's how it's determined if it's takeout or not. If you have disposable utensils and those types
Gotcha.
of products, that's takeout. A sit down would be,
But they have the outdoor speakers.
they have all outdoor speakers, so it wouldn't be allowed.
Wouldn't allow it. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad I asked.
Yeah, that was a good question.
I couldn't figure it out if it was a drive-through or what it was because it's
It's
kind of unique.
takeout.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Further questions, comments, input?
It's like pizza place, right? Papa John's, Little Caesars, that's takeout, right?
Yes, sir.
Good questions. See no further
That's a good
questions.
idea.
This time I'd like to call for citizen comments in regards to this item on the agenda. Any citizens wishing to make comment, welcome, encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone and name and address for the record. Seeing no citizen comments at this time, I'd like to ask for a recommendation in regards to this item on the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Motion for positive recommendation.
Sorry. Oh, it is a forward.
It is.
Okay. Motion for positive recommendation.
Second by Commissioner Searcy. It's a motion and a second for a positive recommendation. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising their hand. Aye. Against, abstentions, so approved. I am looking for a motion to adjourn. Got a motion and a second to stay longer tonight for Mr. Barlow's last meeting? Yes. Your motion is second for adjournment. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against, abstentions. Thank you, Mr. Barlow. We are adjourned.
I think I said goodbye.